Hello YouTubes, welcome to another Tune Up Tuesday. Today we're working on this little CP rail switcher. Picked this up at the Breslau train show at the weekend there. I really like this little thing, but currently it runs like this. Not the best. Needs a couple of traction towers plus major TLC. Let's get into it. So this particular model is an AHM made in Yugoslavia. I don't know what the RSO stands for, but it says that there too. Right, I haven't been into this, so let us begin. I'm guessing there's a big screw there. Let's get that off. Oh, it's a tighty. That's not been off in a while. Got a feeling this is only holding the weight in, but I guess we'll find out. My newly printed out parts bin. Very handy. Take the weight off, and does it come apart? Nope. So we have, there's a clip there I can see, and there's a sort of hook in the front there. So let's see if we can carefully lever this out. One clip there, presumably there's one on the other side. And then I'm guessing that it's going to come up and slide backwards. I might have to remove this. We'll see if we can lever this out a bit more. Yep, bring it up, slide it back a little bit and then out a bit more. And there's another weight at the front we need to put somewhere safe. And try and remember which way around it goes. I'm guessing it goes that way because there's a big gap there for the light, which, if this behaves, I will put some LEDs in it today. Goodness, there's a lot of weights in this. Look at all these weights, it's pretty heavy. Okay, we'll put this aside for now. Let's have a look at this. Interesting. I thought for a second that it was like 8-wheel drive because there's a shaft coming out there, but it just seems to be an extra long shaft. It doesn't go anywhere. So it is just rear-wheel drive. So not really a lot to do. We can get access to the commutator there to clean it up. We will take the front, we'll take the front truck off, get into the gears, give that a good clean. Appears to be a clip there, a bit like the Athorns, a clip that holds the truck in. Looks like I need to unclip both sides. Just got to be so careful with the older models because the plastic will be getting brittle after 40 odd years. I'm guessing it's 40 odd years, no idea. So this should drop down, drive shaft should pop out like so. It stays attached to that side. Still not sure how we're getting into the gears. Let's get into the underside. Right, there seems to be a broken clip there, because that's just going to come off like that. I'm going to have to fix that. There should be a wee bar going across the top there. Wheels and gears, they don't look too bad at all. Obviously I need to clean the wheels and I need to get some traction tires. And you know how much I love traction tires. Well, I may have a solution. I discovered that my 3D printer can also print kind of rubber plastic. So I've given it a shot and I've printed some traction tires. Now they're not perfect yet, I'm still fine-tuning the process. But I have tested these for size. You really have to kind of stretch them over the wheel. Let me show you. Now, before you flood the comments section with ideas for traction tires, I'm aware of the whole tiny elastic band thing. I did check my local dollar stores and they don't have any this small. You've also got bullfrog snot, which is a little bottle of paste that you paint around the wheel. It's like $40 a jar, no thanks. And of course traction tires themselves, but minimum is like a pack of 10 and it's like $25. So I've got a massive roll of this rubbery filament for the printer. It was $30. Infinite amount of traction tires of all different sizes and shapes. Well, not shapes, they're all going to be round, but you get the idea. So that's you pre-warned. I'm fully aware of all the other possibilities, but we're going to give this a shot. They're a wee bit rough for now, so I'm not expecting it to run perfectly smooth, but they should be sized quite well. They're quite tight to get on, which is fine because I don't want them slipping. Okay, that's one. Oh, it's a wee bit dirty in there. That's not going to help with the running. But I tell you, it's amazing the difference even just a tiny grain of dirt makes on a wheel for how your loco's going to run around a track. Basically, anytime you see a bit of grit or a grain of salt or sand, multiply that by 87 for an HO scale to give you the actual size of that grain and how that would affect real life. Right, let's slip this one on. Okay. Now, it took me a while to get the size of these right because they have to be wide enough to fill that gap. They have to be thick enough to be over that rim, but not too thick that the flange at the side is covered. Otherwise, it would just roll off. So I'm expecting these to work, but the loco might wobble a bit because these are not perfectly even yet. Till I fine tune the settings for these, it's not going to be perfect. I can even see a tiny little hairy bit coming up there. Let's try and snip that off. Okay, that will do for the wheels. The gears themselves look fine and clean. They've even got a little bit of oil in them, so I'll just update the oil situation in there. Just a little dab. I don't want it running all over my track. And we may as well clean these wheels. Now, I've been using my fiberglass pencil for this job, but what I've found, as much as I love this fiberglass pencil, it's fiberglass. So when these little bristles break off, they love to get in between your fingers and they embed themselves in your skin. And it's kind of painful, just kind of irritating. It doesn't need to be, so let me go and grab a pair of gloves just for this wee job. Okay, I have my gloves ready. Bottle of IPA to clean it after I've cleaned the main part of the dirt off. And I'll do the same process with the front. Alright, let's see. They're not too bad, these wheels, but again, just because you can't see it doesn't mean the dirt's not there. One wheel done. Two wheels done. Let us now reassemble this. It's quite simple. It's not as easy to work on as like an Athearn, but pretty basic. I don't seem to have access to the inside of this section, unfortunately. I think I would need to actually break this whole thing apart, and I'm not willing to do that. So I'll maybe just put a little squirt of oil down there and hope that that just feeds into the mechanism at the top. Put a wee squirt in this side as well where the drive shaft's going in. Okay. So we just put this cover back on and hope it stays on for testing purposes at least. Yeah, looks like that will stay on for a little bit, but I do need to create some sort of bar there to stop it just falling off. Right, put that aside for now and see if we can clean up the rear. I don't think there's any point in taking this out. because we just want to get this cover off to get to the wheels. Hopefully I don't break this, and then we've got two little bars I need to, oh, that came off real easy. Slide it off the front there. Ah, interesting. So this is also holding in your coupler. Need to remember that when I put it back on. So these wheels need cleaned, and obviously you've got the pickup spring bar things, they need cleaned. Centre bar needs cleaned. The front one is isolated. Actually no, this is isolated as well on that side there. So it's important to know or to remember that the isolated part is on the far away side. Right, must remember that. Right, let me clean all that up. And of course, we need to clean the commutator, which is down there. Not got a huge amount of room, but we should have enough. And of course, we need to get in there with the cotton bud, or the Q-tip, you guys call them. Get as much of the grime out as you can, preferably all of it. But as I say, not a huge amount of access without getting some fairly serious plastic removal done. Worst thing you want to do is, well, you don't want to do it, but the worst thing you can do is make it worse with shoving dirt where it's not supposed to be. That looks better. And I think we're ready to reassemble. I'm not going to do the LEDs yet because I say it has to prove its worth before I go that far. Gloves are removed, or the gloves are off. Right, does everyone remember? Isolated that way. So that needs to go over there. This one, it's a completely different axle. It's not a metal axle. The whole bar in the middle is isolated. But that's okay because these little pickups take the power from the wheels, not the bar. So as long as each wheel is isolated from each other, probably doesn't really matter which way around they go then, right? And then the clip over the top, remembering the coupler. This is going to be a wee bit tricky actually, because I need to slide that on at the same time as I put the coupler on the underside and hope the wheels don't pop out. That's just more annoying than it needs to be. And also this really needs to tilt up. You see how it wobbles there? It needs to tilt up like that. Get that in there. Right, you see what I'm trying to do? There's a hole there. This bar has to slide into that hole at the same time I'm putting the coupler on. But I don't have enough fingers to do it all at once. This is a fairly bad design. See, that's too far. I need to have enough room to slide this in. Oh, right, this could be a technique. If you tilt it away up like that, put the coupler in, tilt it, there we go. And then clip it back down. Oh, it's actually quite easy if you do it that way. So, when you're putting this truck cover back on, tilt it down at that angle, get it over or get that bar through the slot, put the coupler on, tilt it back, clip it down. Bob's your auntie. And all my contacts, or my pickups, are in the right place. Right, other side. Oh, it's so light. Now I understand why there's so much weight in this whole thing. So that is obviously the wrong way around. That goes in that way. And when this goes in, we have to make sure we get the drive shaft in the slot. Like so. He slides up there, and then we have that big plastic clip, which looks to be symmetrical. I think that goes on either way. Clips over the top, like so, and we're all back together, or at least this part is. Now we need to add the millions of weights. Right, who can remember what goes where? And I also don't like the fact that you can see all these weights through the glass. So when I do the LEDs, if it behaves, then I'll paint these black, or paint the inside of the glass black, something like that. Okay, I can't remember if that went that way or the other way. I think it went that way. Yeah, because it needs to have a little gap at the top for the bulb, which isn't there, but there's a lens there for it, which is strange. So I'm going to have to, if I'm going to put a bulb at the back, I need to work out how I'm going to channel the wire. The bulb can sit right up in the roof, but then this sits flush with the plastic there. I could possibly run the wire down that side. We'll jump off that bridge when we come to it. Front one went that way, yes. Again, leaving space for the bulb at the top. And the middle one goes underneath. Let's try and put that in. Oh. I'm thinking maybe some sticky stuff to hold this in place. Okay, so that little tab has to go in that little hole there. You can just see it going in there. Then the whole thing slides down, clips into place at the back. If we've lined the weights up the right way around, there we go. Weight in the bottom. That can only go one way, see how it's got a groove? That goes that way. Cover goes over, screw goes over that. So I don't think I had to actually take that off. And we're done, hopefully. Let's see if it runs any better or at all. Let's see if we've improved it or completely destroyed it. Make sure your power is on DC if you've got an option. Give it some gas. See how it performs. This is never going to be a quiet loco because of the type of running gear and motor it's got. It seems smooth enough though. A little bit wibbly wobbly because I've not fine-tuned the traction tires yet. Let's give it a wee bit more power, follow it around the track, see if it makes it all the way. Yay, success. Fantastic. Generally, you're going to know if your traction tyres are garbage when it comes to set points, because a bad traction tyre will just derail it instantly. Let's make sure it works in reverse. Quite a loud motor, but that's nothing I can do about that unless I obviously replace the motor. That's okay. It's going to be a great little switcher for all that nonsense when the time comes. I'll take that as a win. Let me throw in a couple of LEDs, front and back. I might just put a red one in the back. I think it looks nicer than white, because I wouldn't really be running this in reverse. Actually, I will be running it in reverse, so that's the whole point. It's a switcher, right? So I need to add a rear coupler, hook it up to some freight, and you can see it at the end of the video if it actually manages to pull a freight consist around the track. Thanks for watching. I'll see you either next week or Friday for Fix It Friday. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Back to the bench.